Want more NPCs for your Star Wars game? Today I'll be taking a look at allies and adversaries. But stick with me to the very end because I'm going to show you two valuable resources that I personally use in my Star Wars game, not just for finding a list of all allies and adversaries, but also in how to create your own. This is a review of allies and adversaries. Let's dive in. And here we have the Star Wars Allies and Adversaries book, the essential collection of heroes and villain, published originally in 2019 by Fantasy Flight, now Edge Studios. Let's take a look at the back. The famous and infamous characters of the Star Wars galaxy come to life with allies and adversaries. This sourcebook gathers heroic rebels, evil Imperials, and galactic scum and villainy drawn from all three Star Wars role-playing game lines, along with a host of brand new individuals who have never been profiled before, and is fully compatible with Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny. Gotta say, I really do dig that inside cover spread right there. Pretty nice. So this book is separated into 4 different categories. So we're gonna have your rebel heroes, your Imperials and Despots, your Scum and Villainy, and your creatures and citizens. But at the very beginning of the book, we're going to have references to 2 skills and a very brief outline for the Force Powers Enhance, Move, and Sense. Right off the bat, like many of the NPCs that are listed in this book, a lot of the information here is going to be recycled from previous material. So there really isn't much that is new here. So like if you're missing a book, such as an era book or one of the sector books, or you want all of your NPC stats in one place, then this is going to be the book for you. Also, there are a ton of famous characters like Luke Skywalker, Yoda, things like that, which haven't been in other books. So if that is something that you want to use, then this book would also be good for you as well. Aside from the stat blocks, this section, Rebels and Heroes, actually does have stats and rules for creating a Lasat character. So we're going to have characters like Admiral Akbar. We're also going to have some Alliance troops, like the Alliance Driver, Fleet Trooper, Infantry, and Spec Force Infiltrator. We've got Cassian Andor, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Han Solo. You got to have both of those. We have Jyn Erso, K-2SO, Lando Calrissian, the Lasan Honor Guard, as well as the Lasat Species Guide right there. Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker, the Mon Calamari Shipwright, Mon Mothma, Obi-Wan or Ben Kenobi. This is the old one, not the Clone Wars version, I believe. We have a politician and a senator, a Corn Agitator, a Quartermaster, R2-D2, Rebel Alliance Liaison, Rebel Cell Leader, Saw Gerrera, Starfighter, Pilot and Ace. We have Wedge Antilles, the master pilot of them all, and Yoda. So a great rule of thumb here is that if it sounds basic, it's probably in another book. But if it's a named character, it's probably going to be exclusive here. Then we have our Imperials and Despots. This chapter has a variety of Imperial forces as well as some of the most notable characters in the Empire. So we get the biggest bad of them all, Admiral Pete. We've got Corporate Sector Authority Security Police in both the minion and the rival form. We've got Corporate Sector Authority Vice Prex. We've got a Customs Inspector. We've got Darth Vader himself. Yeah, have fun reading all the talents in the Force Powers right there. This is one thing I really don't like about this line of books that they've come out are the stat blocks. Ugh. We've got Death Troopers, Director Orson Krennic, Imperial Palpatine, General Veers, government and corporate bureaucrats. We've got Grand Admiral Thrawn himself, Grand Moff Williff Tarkin, Imperial Advisor, Imperial Armor Corps, Imperial Moffs, Imperial Navy Trooper Gunner and Officers, Imperial Royal Guard, Interrogation Droids, always fun, Military Informants, Planetary Governor, and your different variety of stormtroopers. Like your regular stormtrooper, we've got cave troopers, range troopers, sand troopers, scout troopers, shore troopers, snow troopers, swamp troopers, and some of those are actually exclusive to this book as well. We've got the TIE Pilot and Ace, and we've got the Viper Probe Droid. Then we've got the Scum and Villainy chapter. This is where you'll find your ne'er-do-wells and bounty hunters, like Forlom. We've got an arms dealer, Barabel Enforcer, Black Chrysantan, Black Marketeer, Black Sun Vigo, Boba Fett from the movies, not the actual show, Bosk, Con Artist, Dandy Gambler, Dengar, Dr. Afra, and her little companions as well. We've got the Fallen Apprentice and a Fallen Master. We've got a Forger, an Expert Forger, and a Gamorrean Guard. Now, we have had the Gamorrean Thug before, but this one I think is a little bit different. We've got the Gan Findsman, Gilded Bounty Hunter. We've got Hondo Onaka, Hut Crime Lord, a Hut Majordomo, IG-88, best droid of them all, Infochance, Jabba the Hutt, Jawa Scavenger, Maul, Pirate Captain and Crew, Pod Racer Pilot, Shadow Part Mechanic, Ship Jacker, Slicer, Smuggler and Smuggler Baron, Spaceport Security Officer and an Overseer, Street Tough and Gang Leaders, Swoop Ganger and Ace, Toydarian Merchant. Always fun if you have a Jedi character in your party who likes to really mess with people's heads. Trandoshan Mercenary, Tusken Raider, Weequay Gunsoul, and Zuckus. Last but not least, we have the creatures and the ordinary citizens. The creatures are quite specific to planets, unless you could come up with a way to include them. But hey, feel free to add them to whatever game you happen to be running. So we're going to have things like the Antiquated Battle Droid, Astromech Droid, Bantha, Bear Sloth, Bith Musician, Dewback, Dionaga, Droideka, Ewok Hunter and Ewok Shaman, Gundark, Hyperlane Scout, the Magna Guard, a Crate Dragon, the Loth Cat and Loth Wolf, the Mantillion Flutterplume, Medical Droid, Mouse Droid, Maintenance Droid. Although I'm kind of really curious as to why they didn't include that under the Imperials. But hey, we've got Minox and Vinox, Nerf Herders and Nerfs, Nexu, Physicians, Power Droid and Training Droid, Protocol Droids, Rancors, Reeks, Ronto, Sarlacc, Security Droid, Stalking Acolyte, Solistan Pilot for Hire, Tauntaun, Ugnaught Mechanic, Varicto, and of course the OG Wampa right there. Except he's a wimpy rival. I would have expected that to be a nemesis. If you're just starting out with the Star Wars games and you only have like one core rulebook, then this would be a valuable resource to have. Much of the basic adversaries in this book can be taken and they can be reskinned. I've personally done this with Nemesis, like when I need a bounty hunter that's actually hunting my player characters. I've taken a named bounty hunter and just given them a new name and just thrown it at my characters. If you have the other books, like the other core rule books, some of the era books and source books and things like that, and you just want everything that's in a collected edition, then this could be for you, but I do have an alternative. Let's take a look at the Star Wars Adversaries website, and then we're going to take a look at ChatGPT. So here we've got ourselves a website, Star Wars Adversaries. I'll post the link in the description because it has a really funky web address name. And so this is a really cool website because it has pretty much all of the NPCs in any source statted out here. So like if I do a search for like Han Solo, for instance, we're going to have Han Solo, and we're also going to be able to see all the talents and abilities, gear, and what source it has come from, whether it's official or fan-made. And there are some fan-made ones as well, like the Heroes on Both Sides is a pretty interesting one. But you have a Admiral Tarkin right there. The only thing that is rather unfortunate is that there doesn't seem to be a way to roll for skills or anything like that, which I can kind of see why, but it would have been nice to have that feature on there. Something that is pretty cool, though, is that you can create your own character here, and it'll have it statted up here and saved as well. But all the NPCs that you could ever want are listed here, and it's actually really neat. I've used this to pretty much copy and paste things like talents and abilities into my Roll20 NPCs. So it made that job a lot easier. And then if I wanted something really obscure, I could do a quick search here to see if it's been statted. And if it isn't statted, then that would be something I'd have to create. And speaking of creating, let's hop on over to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT can do quite a number of things. And I've actually used it for my Star Wars campaign in generating random things, or when I needed some inspiration, you can have it generate a location or anything like that. Or even if you need to ask it something specific about Star Wars lore, it can do that. But something that I've discovered in my time with ChatGPT is that you can actually have it stat your NPCs for you. So for example, I have Paz Vizsla, who has actually entered the campaign. I've gone ahead and asked ChatGPT to go ahead and give me stats for a Paz Vizsla NPC with stats and weapons, characteristics, and all that. And so it's actually given me pretty good stats and talents and things like that that I would have chosen. So he's got things like the heavy blaster rifle that's been modified. He's carrying a vibro axe and a wrist-mounted flamethrower. You know, things that a typical Mandalorian would wear. But he's also got the Beskar armor. He's got the jetpack, wrist-mounted grappling line, utility belt. He's carrying a thermal detonator for some reason. He's got high wound threshold, some strain threshold, and then we've also got a description and the background for that specific NPC. But let's say that I did have something that I wanted that was unique. And I've also done that with a character called Alyssa Lenore. Although ChatGPT called her Alyssa Venter. I've actually changed her last name. And so I said I need stats for a Nemesis level tech genius human philanthropist. And this is kind of what it gave me. Human with brawn of 2, agility 2, intellect 5, and a presence of 4, cunning 3, willpower 3. So really good stats. They have talents like inventor, inspiring rhetoric, master tinkerer, convincing demeanor, and just some very simple equipment. As you can see, no weapons because that's not something that you would want a character like this to just be sporting all over the place. So if I needed a character, like let's say I need stats for Grogu, I can just go ahead and type that up and ChatGPT will think about it. And so, hey, look at that Grogu, known as the child or Baby Yoda, which is definitely not Baby Yoda. Ooh, a Force-sensitive emergent. I was not expecting that. But then again, it kind of also makes sense. And so it's just listing out all the things. And, obviously it's going to be taking from a lot of the resources that you can find online and just taking that information and parsing it into the actual game system, which I really like. There really isn't a whole lot of thinking to be done here. You just plug it in and play. Although I'm not quite sure about this being force sensitive emergent, but hey, oh well. It's a good start, let's just say. So he's got the force power move and heal harm, which you've actually seen in the show. So that's pretty good. Grit to give him more strain. Okay, sensitive. He's got a floating pod. That's awesome. And a hidden dagger. Trying to remember. Did Mando ever? I'm pretty sure that must have happened. Okay. It's got telepathic communication, force sensitivity, 10 wounds. That's kind of low, but that's also expected. I mean, it's a baby. And a higher strain. And then we've got the description and the background. That's how I use ChatGPT in a nutshell for NPC generation. So now you have the knowledge and the ability to use it for whatever you want. So have at you, come up with all sorts of crazy, wacky NPCs. And that's going to do it for this video. So feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series. And I will see you guys in the next video.